Imagine this. Right now, if you step down to the edge of a slow-moving river on a humid afternoon, dipping your hand into the cool water just to feel the relief from the heat, you wouldn't see it coming. The surface is glassy, reflecting the overhanging branches and the distant call of birds. But beneath, a saltwater crocodile, Crocodilus porosus, can launch from the depths with a bite force of over 16,000 newtons, clamping down and dragging you under in fractions of a second. And for more than 200 million years, that's exactly what these ancient predators have done, turning innocent-looking waterways into perfectly engineered death traps. You feel the gentle current against your legs. You take one more step, and then the water erupts. The tension builds in your chest, even thinking about it. Your pulse quickens at the mere idea. That's no accident. In the next several minutes, you're going to uncover 3 revelations that will forever change how you look at any body of water. You'll discover the raw, physics-driven mechanics of the crocodile's death roll and why it turns your own body weight into a weapon against you. You'll hear the harrowing, documented story of a woman who was death-rolled 3 times by a massive saltwater crocodile and lived to describe the moment she realized she had become prey. And you'll learn the counterintuitive truth that these reptiles are far more calculated and sophisticated hunters than popular myths suggest, while your own brain carries hardwired instincts that may fail you precisely when you need them most. Close up on dark, murky water. Slow pan across a seemingly peaceful riverbank at dusk. Subtle ripples break the surface. Cut to underwater angle. A massive silhouette gliding silently. Wide establishing shot revealing the scale of a remote tropical river system. Let's anchor this in science. In 2012, paleobiologist Gregory M. Erickson from Florida State University led a groundbreaking study. His team measured the bite forces of every one of the 23 living crocodilian species. The undisputed champions were the saltwater crocodiles. They recorded peak forces reaching 16,460 newtons, equivalent to about 3,700 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, that's powerful enough that some biomechanical models suggest it approaches the estimated bite strength of Tyrannosaurus rex when scaled appropriately. These aren't just crushing jaws. They're combined with a hunting strategy refined over geological epochs. A few years later, in 2019, paleontologist Stephanie K. Drumheller and colleagues examined death roll behavior across 25 crocodilian species at facilities, including the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. They documented that 24 out of 25 species perform this maneuver. The animal tucks its limbs, cants its head and tail for balance, and spins rapidly around its longitudinal axis using conservation of angular momentum. This generates enormous shear forces capable of twisting and tearing flesh and bone. In the wild, the sequence is brutally efficient. Ambush from below, explosive strike, secure the grip, submerge to drown, then roll to dismember. One moment you're waiting. The next, the world is a chaotic blur of bubbles, pressure, and pain. The stakes couldn't be more final. Survival often measured in seconds of oxygen and the strength of your desperate struggle. Medium shot tracking a researcher carefully approaching a large croc in controlled conditions. Cut to slow-motion animation of the death roll mechanics, highlighting torque and limb positioning. Underwater camera following the violent spin, clouds of silt and blood. On February 19, 1985, Australian philosopher Val Plumwood was canoeing alone in a tributary of the East Alligator River inside Kakadu National Park, Australia. She had been told that crocodiles rarely attacked canoes. That assumption proved fatally wrong. A large saltwater crocodile began ramming her small fiberglass canoe repeatedly. She paddled frantically toward the bank. As she reached for an overhanging tree to pull herself to safety, the crocodile struck. It seized her between the legs in what she later described as a red-hot pincer grip and yanked her underwater. The first death roll was disorienting, a violent spin into suffocating darkness. She was rolled a second time, flesh tearing against the powerful jaws. On the third roll, near the surface, the crocodile inexplicably loosened its grip just enough. Plumwood clawed her way up the muddy bank, badly injured with deep lacerations and punctures. She crawled for hours through crocodile-infested swamp before being rescued. Her essay, Being Prey, stands as one of the most powerful first-hand accounts of crossing from predator to prey in the natural
Should we
world.
say something?
Wide cinematic shot of a lone canoe gliding through misty wetlands. Sudden impact from below, camera shakes violently. Underwater struggle sequence. Bubbles, thrashing, desperate hands reaching for light. Slow recovery on the bank, blood in the water, ominous silence. But here's what nobody tells you about how these animals actually hunt. The real danger isn't always the explosive charge you might imagine from documentaries. It's the patience, the calculated stillness, the way they exploit your own movements and instincts, turning the river into an extension of their ambush. Your body was not built to survive an encounter with a crocodile the way you think. Deep in your brain, evolutionary circuits forged over millions of years stand ready. When an ambush predator strikes from the water, your amygdala triggers an immediate cascade. Adrenaline floods your system. Your heart rate spikes. Time seems to slow as your midbrain orients toward the threat. These fight-flight-freeze responses helped our ancestors survive encounters with large predators. Yet against a creature that can remain submerged for more than an hour, that spins with bone-crushing torque, and that uses the water itself as a weapon, that same surge can become a liability. Panic consumes oxygen faster. Reflexive thrashing plays into the role. Neuroscience research on human threat responses shows these instincts are ancient adaptations tuned precisely to predators like this one, yet they were never optimized for the casual way we now approach rivers and lakes. You carry the echo of that primal fear in your nervous system every time you near deep water. Tracking shot following a swimmer's legs dangling in murky water from above. Cut to internal body visualization, pulsing heart, firing neurons in the amygdala. Slow zoom on eyes widening in sudden realization. Environmental sounds fade to a heavy heartbeat. For thousands of years, crocodiles have not merely threatened humans. They have shaped our deepest stories and beliefs. In ancient Egypt, as far back as the Old Kingdom around 2686 BCE, the Nile crocodile was revered as the living embodiment of Sobuk, a powerful deity often depicted as a crocodile-headed man. Sobuk represented strength, fertility, and control over the unpredictable Nile waters. Temples like Crocodilopolis maintained sacred crocodiles, adorned and cared for, mummified with honors upon death. Pharaohs invoked Sobuk for protection in battle and for the fertility of the land. Yet the same jaws that symbolized divine power dragged villagers and travelers into the river. This duality, worship mixed with terror, reveals something profound. Humans didn't just fear the crocodile. We recognized in it a force larger than ourselves, a reminder that we are participants in a food web, not its unchallenged masters. The predator became myth, symbol of chaos and order intertwined. Sweeping aerial shot over the Nile at dawn, transitioning to ancient temple ruins. Artistic renderings of Sobuk statues intercut with modern river scenes. Subtle, ominous score building under narration. The crocodile glides through the river like a shadow that has never needed to apologize for its nature. It simply exists, perfectly adapted, patient, lethal. Humans, meanwhile, have chosen to build cities beside these waters, to swim and fish and forget. We tell ourselves stories of dominance, of safety, of separation from the wild. Yet every time someone steps into a crocodile river, the ancient equation reasserts itself. Soft flesh against armored jaws. Brief struggle against 200 million years of refinement. What place do we truly hold when the water turns against us?